Welcome to episode 103 of the Thunder Underground podcast, the first episode of 2017. How's it feel?
That feels pretty good.
Yeah, it does. We made it
Through
another calendar year here, and we've got the first episode of 2017 kicking off.
Yeah,
with the Normandys.
that's right. That's going to be a good one.
Yeah, we've got all 5 members here. I'm going to talk to them here in a bit, and we've even got them doing an acoustic track, and that'll be the first time that we've had a live,
yeah.
or a track recorded live for our podcast. Obviously, this is not live as we speak. You get the point.
A podcast exclusive.
That's a better way to put it.
Thank you.
Yep. All that's going to be coming up here in a bit, but first we want to talk about, did you have a good holiday season and all that stuff?
Yeah, it was all right. Can't really say the same for my liver, but fuck him. He's tough. He'll get through it somehow.
Yeah. He'll make it into 2017, all right?
Yep. Let's hope.
New Year's Eve, I went out to Fort Smith and saw Driver and Reliance Code.
Nice.
Along with a couple other bands, Makeshift and the Violent Hour.
Okay.
And they're all pretty good. I mean, we know Driver's great. We've seen them many times. And they were actually the band that was playing when it struck midnight. And 2 or 3 minutes before midnight, Adam said we're going to take a break, and then just waited, and everybody counted down, did their thing, and then a couple minutes after midnight, they kicked back in. So the first music I heard of 2017 was Driver, so I'd say that's a good kickoff to the year.
It definitely is.
Yeah. And Reliance Code, neither one of us had seen them live yet.
Yeah.
And I must tell you that they live up to the lofty expectation they set with that EP.
Really? Well, that's good, man. That's good. I can't wait to see those guys.
Yeah, because I was, it's when you hear someone with that good of a, not just good songs, but it sounds great, you're kind of like, man, are these guys going to be able to pull this off live? And they do. The whole band. The band just sounds great and thick.
Mm-hmm.
And, Todd's vocals are just off the charts. He sounds as good live as he does on that record.
Yeah. So
I was really happy to see that and for it to come across the way they did. They even played a Seether cover, and they sounded better live than Seether.
Oh.
And, it's not like Seether's anything, at the top of the food chain when it comes to being amazing. But I'm just saying they're a very successful band, and I may be biased, but I think Reliance Code sounded better. So there you go.
Hey, I dig it.
Yeah. And when are you going to see them live? This Friday.
That's right.
Why is that?
Because they're
Sorry,
playing...
that was my little lead-in for you.
Excuse me. I'm actually sober tonight, so it's throwing me off my game. No, they're playing at the Shrine with, Crane Technique, Devil You Adore, Arson City.
Saves the day? Or Saves the Hero? Or I forgot. Sorry.
You already fucked that up.
I should have had notes in front of me. They're the only band I don't know of the 5, so I'm sorry.
And we're gonna go. It's gonna be a good night. It's gonna be a good show.
This is a DMG Productions event. DMG's actually booked a few shows with Arson City around. Like, I know there's another one the following week in Fort Smith that Crane Technique is also going to be on, and Driver's on that one as well. And I think that same band Saves the Hero.
Okay.
And anyway, that's January 14th at Shooters, but the one we're going to is January 6th at Tulsa, like you said, at the Shrine. This really looking forward to this is because we've talked many times about Crane Technique and how they're another band that just has some powerful recorded music in, and they get up there live and more than deliver.
Yeah.
And we're big fans of them, and the Devil You Adore is the same way. We've seen them live several times now. They've got a great presence. And like I said, Reliance Code, Arson City puts on a show. So this is really going to be something cool to see.
It sure is.
So if you're in the area, you know where to be Friday, January 6th.
We'll see you there.
Yeah. And then the next night, January 7th, Reliance Code is also going to be playing in Tulsa again at Billy and Renee's with our good friends in Fist of Rage.
Yeah.
So that's another one if you're in the Tulsa area you need to check out, because Fist of Rage is one of those bands that you always know what you're going to get a great show, but you don't always know what you're going to get from Andy, the singer, which is a good thing. You're going to get a great performance. And that's not what I'm saying, but I mean, you don't know what he's going to walk out there on stage looking like, is what, so.
Exactly. And that kind of is the fun of it, keeps it fresh.
Yeah. Then, while we're just rattling off shows, same night in Oklahoma City, at the Blue Note, Mothership out of Dallas is playing.
Yes.
And we actually saw these guys earlier in 2016 in Dallas opening up. Well, it was part of the Ride for Dime event where they were playing with COC and Prong and King and Honky.
Yeah.
But anyway, Mothership, I'd seen the name before, but never heard him before that night, actually. And I was just kind of blown away. Really loved what I heard, and I've listened to him since then. I really like him, so I'm really
they're great.
Hoping that we get to make it down there, because also Redneck Nosferatu is opening the show.
Yes.
And speaking of, we recorded a podcast with Lola, the bassist and singer, and that should be coming up here in the next week or two, so be on the lookout for that. Yeah. And that's Oklahoma City, Saturday night, Blue Note. And here's something else while we're talking about great stuff. I didn't tell you about this. I'm going to spring this on you.
Really? So I don't know anything about this.
No. Well, you know about this instance, but you don't know that I'm bringing it up.
Oh, okay.
Because I cannot go without talking about this.
Okay. On
our Best of 2016 episode, I greatly fucked up.
Okay. Yeah.
I was, basically what we did on our 2016 is we both made our lists and then we combined them, and then that's how it works, obviously.
Yeah, there's like a formula you do where it makes it, diplomatic, and it goes by the numbers and whatnot. Right.
So, I was tallying up the stuff and putting stuff together and just had my notes, and for some reason when I was writing the final list, Zakk Wylde's name was there just a little bit further down, and I somehow just was in a hurry to get it done. Because like Jason mentioned on that episode, we were kind of doing this thing right up until we hit record.
Yeah.
And I just completely left Zakk Wylde off. We never mentioned his name during the entire episode just because it wasn't on our list, and there was like 100 names we listed.
Yeah, and we were so fucking just brain farted after the whole episode.
But he actually would have, his album, Book of Shadows 2, would have fell at about, I think it was spot 9 on the list.
Yeah.
Which would have knocked Volbeat off our list.
Yeah.
Into the honorable mention category. But, so let's just quickly talk about this. Book of Shadows
definitely.
2.
I mean, come on. It's Zakk Wylde doing acoustic laid back stuff, which is sometimes where he shines the best.
Not sometimes, it is.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
Right. That's always been my thought process, being, we're both admittedly Zakk Wylde fanboys of everything he's done.
Yes.
But his, not just acoustic, but just anything that's more laid back. Even when you're talking Black Label Society, if you're talking the slower stuff, the more ballady stuff, the stuff that has a little bit more, I don't know, what's the right word, heartfelt or meaning or something. You think of songs like The Last Goodbye or, just any of the ballads that Black Label's done, Spoken to Will, are just beyond everything else that they've done as far as the quality of the songs, in my opinion. Yeah. There's some amazing heavy metal stuff he's done. His guitar works off the charts and the solos are, we don't have to talk about that. But when it comes to the laid back stuff, that's with a piano or an acoustic guitar, that's where Zakk Wylde is.
And that voice.
On the top 5 list.
Yeah.
Yeah, his voice is just unbelievable. Like, even worlds beyond, just what he was doing, when you look at, Pride and Glory in the first Book of Shadows.
Yeah.
That's a great voice, but it's just, obviously, anyone that keeps doing that's going to get better. So I think that's one of the biggest things you notice with Book of Shadows 2, is his voice is even better than it was back then. And Book of Shadows 1's literally one of my top 5 albums of all time.
Yeah.
Well. So this had a lofty expectation to live up to. Mm-hmm. Do I love it as much as 1? No, not at all. Yeah. But it's easily in my top, I think on my list I had it like number 4 or 5. It's that's how well I held it in regards to it, and all the music on it's great, and there's no filler really. There's nothing boring about it, but it's not like the first one where like every single track jumps out at me and stands on its own.
Yeah.
But there's like a good 6 or 7 songs that really jump out as just being amazing work that are as good as anything he's ever done in his career. So I don't know if I know you had it on your list as well. That's how obviously it was going to make our top 10. But
Yeah.
if you have anything else to add to that or not.
Just that, I mean, any Zakk is amazing Zakk, really. And, I know that, I'd say, what was it, 10 years ago or so, they did, Black Label Society did the Hangover music.
Yeah.
And, they went back to that laid back kind of stuff, but his voice just wasn't, I don't know, his voice just didn't do it for me in that context back then in that record.
He was singing a lot higher and a lot more.
Yeah, and
it's like he was singing metal songs laid back. He wasn't.
Yeah, exactly.
He wasn't putting that soul into it.
And I was just so happy to have that that talent and that soul put back into these laid back songs. And I was kind of nervous about it, and then when I heard it, I was like, okay, good. So I mean, it's just another home run for Zakk Wylde. I mean, he wakes up in the morning and he pisses excellence. So
right.
That sounds corny and dumb because I'm quoting a movie, but that's the truth with that guy. Yeah. We love that guy.
Well, going into what you just said, I was the same exact thing. I thought I was kind of worried that when this came out, it was going to be like what I just talked about earlier, Black Label Society ballads. That's what I thought it was going to end up being, and I'm glad that he stuck true. I'm like, I guess he's calling it Book of Shadows too. He needs to stick to the theme.
Yeah.
And he did.
He sure did.
Where it flows in the same vein as that first album did.
That's right.
Well, one other band that we didn't mention in the whole episode, Torpedo Head.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's a band out of Germany. We played like 3 times throughout the past year. And that album is called 3, I think. And it's just, it should have been in my honorable mentions. That's how much I love it. Like, it's just great. What's a good word? Ballsy rock and roll.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and I think you all should go check out Torpedo Head. If you like anything from classic rock to, the trashier side of glam to your Swedish stuff like Michael Monroe and Backyard Babies kind of all rolled together. This band kind of hits all that stuff.
Yeah, you'll love them.
Well, I think it's time to talk about the Normandys.
Yes, let's get down to business here.
Yeah. Well, before we do it, let's play a track from their album.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to play the song for you, Bruce. So check this out.
Too much apathy.
Bruce from the Normandys, from their album Booze, Bitterness, and Broken Hearts. Man, this is one of the better albums I've heard from a band around this area in a long time.
Yeah.
Just like a full-on, just an album that you can just hit play. All killer, no filler, like we like to say.
That's right.
That's just, what word can you use besides it's just fucking fun.
Yeah, it really is. It really, I'm sitting here in Oklahoma and I feel like I'm in Boston.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's just, it sits well with, that ilk. It goes perfectly with that kind of, Boston Irish kind of punk that I think we both really enjoy, and, it's just, the gang vocals and the hooks, and it's catchy. And I mean, this album makes me smile, man. It really does.
Yeah. Yeah. It's just the epitome of feel good punk.
Yeah, definitely.
And the thing is with, when those bands of that, like you said, that Boston feel, like the Street Dogs or Dropkick or anything like that,
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of bands out there that, have that sound.
Yeah.
Since Dropkick kind of got big, or whatever. And you can have that sound, which the Normandys do,
Mm-hmm.
but it doesn't mean shit if you don't have the songs to go with it.
Yeah, definitely.
And these guys, every song on this album is a great song. These guys know how to write a song, and that's the key thing to making good music like this. Obviously that's the key to any genre of music, but especially in punk rock, whenever there's a million different genres of punk rock, but in this genre, you've got to have a song that's memorable.
Yeah, it is really all about, memorable hookiness, that kind of thing. The fact that, and in this podcast, they do a performance for us, acoustic, and it still translates because it's a well-written song.
Definitely. Yeah, and that song actually, Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, there's a video for it we talked about here in the podcast, but you need to get on YouTube and check that out. And that's just like the album. It's extremely well done. You feel like you're watching something that's on MTV or whatever.
If MTV was good and didn't suck anymore.
Or say MTV Classic, where they're playing videos.
There you go.
Yeah, so definitely check that out. Get online on Facebook and follow the Normandys. Hit like. Get on their Bandcamp. Buy this album from them. Go to a show. I know they're playing November 4 or November. Where the fuck that came from?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know what they're doing in November, but January 14th, that's next Saturday, they're playing at the Vanguard with Kick Tree and Madewell.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll be out there at that one. And, Madewell's another band we've talked about having on this podcast before, and we've played them before. Another great punk band out of Tulsa with a great sound. So get out there and check that out if you get the chance.
Yeah, that'll be a treat for sure.
Yeah, but like I said, follow these guys on there, or follow these guys on Facebook and Twitter and everything. Do the same for us. TheThunderUnderground.com if this is your first time listening. Get on Facebook. Click like on us as well. Well, let's get into this interview right now with all 5 members of the Normandys.
Let's do it. Roll it.
Softball questions that we can prepare for mentally before we start this thing.
Okay, what bands around here do you hate?
Do not ask us that question.
No, not like that.
What's your favorite song by Headstrong?
I like that one.
Yeah, we'll put that one in there.
Alright, I'm nervous about the questions. What are the questions?
They're all really hard.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Do I need a calculator?
They're multiple choice.
It's always it's like long division.
Yeah.
Always pick D, all of the above.
All of the above.
Well, let's just start with the video you guys just put out for Horseshoes and Hand Grenades? Like, how'd it come about?
Mostly
Pete's
Pete. Pete does everything.
Well, I don't know
for this
about
band.
that. Les, his buddy Dante, he had him come out and shoot video at the Vanguard when we played with Michael Graves. And then we had him revisit the Vanguard and shoot video when we played with Trapped. After we got those 2 shows and we saw the video that he had produced, we thought it'd be a good idea to kind of tie it in and do like a little bar scene and, have some parts where we're like shouting the gang vocals and stuff like that. And just, that way it went together real quick, painless and easy. And the guy is amazing at the video part of it. So it all just
he's
together.
Crazy good.
Plus, we had a bunch of strangers in a bar that just were just a part of it, and willy-nilly, and a lot of them were on drugs.
Yeah, I thought you could do those 2 girls.
No,
We
they
do a
just
lot of
showed up.
things willy-nilly.
So was it directed by Dante? Those
Yeah.
like the bar stuff.
Yeah, I guess
Oh,
so.
okay. Or-
Yeah,
Yeah, I think we tried with everything in this band. We try and not take it so seriously, and so it was just like we kind of threw it together. Like, hey, you should walk in with, your pants down.
It was
or
just
whatever.
like, he was operating the camera and pointing at us and would be like, do this, do that. And we're like, okay. And I guess if you want to call it direction, yeah.
So do you know any of Dante's information that we could plug?
Yeah, if
so
you just look up Dante Schmitz, Dante and the Hawks, I play with him in that band.
Oh, okay.
And so it's not like this band at all. But he does video production too, and he hadn't been doing it that long, but his stuff is really good.
And I don't know anything about producing videos, but the quality is amazing.
Yeah.
It's top notch.
Yeah, it's really better than we deserve.
I was gonna say, watching it, you feel like you're watching, professional.
Right.
So
We were just as amazing.
I feel like we really fooled people with it. So.
We thought maybe we should write better music.
Every time I watch it, I'm like, ugh. We should be better musically.
We just really watch it on mute, so that's just turn the music down. It's a lot better.
we had the clean version and the unclean version.
Yes.
I just watched the unclean version. Is that just lyrically, right? It wasn't like
Yeah, it wasn't
anything different.
No.
Video wise, was it?
Well, there will
Okay.
be some deleted scenes. It's
There's
just
not
lyrically.
any nudity. There's not any more nudity.
No.
Same amounts of nudity on both shoots.
There's also not any less nudity.
Was that the first video any of you guys been involved in? Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
By
with
far.
this band for sure. Yeah, I mean, we've all kind of done different projects and different things, but yeah, this was kind of our first music video as the Normandys. So
Cool. You did snuff films before that, though.
Wait.
Sorry.
We made a quit.
I said I wasn't going to talk.
this is my last night with the Normandys.
They found those stuff videos.
Well, the new album, it's fairly new. Talk about just, how it came about, writing, and, when you hear it now as opposed to when you're making it, just, any kind of thoughts.
I would like to say that the album's like being in a long relationship where some days you wake up and you're like, this is awesome, and other days you wake up and want to put a bullet in your head.
This is a very dark podcast.
Because some days you're like, man, that's an awesome song, and then like you've been playing it so long, you're just like, God, I'm so sick of playing that song.
No, I think on a more positive note, that
It's realist. It's realist.
I think it was. I don't think any of us had any clue. We kind of, whenever we write, a lot of times Jay comes up with sort of a basic idea for a song, and then we kind of craft it from there. And so, even a couple of the songs we kind of wrote as we were in the studio, and so that kind of turned out cool because a couple of those songs just like were just raw in the moment, just kind of what we did, and then kind of build them. Everybody thinks that like, oh, they just did an album. It took a couple months, but I mean, that album was over a year of being in and out of the studio. I mean,
Some of those songs were way before I was even in the band.
Yeah.
So.
Some of those songs, are
And
like
we're all
12 years
poor.
old.
So
I don't want that to sound bad. I just mean that's a long time. That was a long time coming.
Yeah, for
the
sure.
songs you like on the album,
If-
Les was a part of.
If we actually had our material from when we began, we'd probably have 4 albums worth, but we stop playing it, completely forget what it was, and then we reminisce about it. We're like, hey, remember that one song we had that was
This
actually
band has
pretty
song
good?
ghosts. Where somebody's like, hey, remember that song? It's like, I remember a song called that. I don't remember what it is. It even sounded like that.
Yeah.
So now you record everything that you play so you remember it when you're
Yeah,
practicing.
exactly.
No.
Usually we write a song and then the week after we hate it and we just scrap it and never play it again. So
Or we don't practice for 2 weeks, and then we'll listen to the rendition on someone's cell phone, and we're like, I don't even know what chord that was. And then we just give up. Like, all right, on to the next one.
let's play those old songs again.
Yeah, the Normandys are very. There's not like a lead person in the Normandys. It's very like we have to vote on everything, so it's pretty.
Well, this is the only band I've ever been in that actually works like that. I've never been in a band, and I mean, I would say that ultimately it's probably your say, but, you know, I've never been in a band where everybody kind of writes and everybody's involved. Like, I've been in a million bands where it's somebody else's show or where you kind of have your little reign, but I've never been in a band that actually worked where we could actually write songs where it's not kind of jumping on board with somebody else's deal. Like, I mean, it's... Most of the material comes from Weston and Jay, but we all kind of...
Yeah, except for the good stuff, and then Sean writes that.
Well,
What do you think? It's easier that way, or
it depends on the band, because I think that there's some bands that work a lot better with with somebody in charge that just it's their show, and if you've got the right personalities, that works. But for writing, for me personally, I've never been able to like write with anybody except for this band.
And the luxury is being a 5-piece is when we do the democratic thing and we vote on it, there's always a 3-2. It always falls on someone like, what do you think, man?
But no, it is cool. Like Les said, I've never been in a band either that like everybody's just super cool. Everybody's super,
Except for one time.
Yeah,
I'm going to play this over and over again, listening to say that everybody's super cool.
Yeah. Anyways.
Wes and I used to be better friends. And then we got to fight over song.
It's on the album. States United. We'll talk about it later. We don't play it anymore. I want to focus
I
up.
think it's hurt feelings.
That was the closest to a fist fight we've ever been in.
Really? That's a good
Well,
song.
let's talk about it.
Yeah, I like that. That
unless you don't want to rehash.
No, it was looking back now, I feel like a big jackass, basically. I fought really hard for an arrangement in the song, and that's it. That's all it was.
Well, who's singing on that? Because it's not you,
Yeah, it's
Weston.
me.
It's you, okay.
Yeah.
So is that why you were pissed?
No! I was actually in Weston's band. No, I was in Weston's band before I played with this band.
Yeah.
Because Weston and I got hooked up through a weird recording situation where a friend of a friend said, I know this guy needs a bass player, and I just went in and did we meet that day or pretty much? And then we just sort of kept going after that. And then a while later it was like, hey, we're gonna record this one song. We were gonna record "Say Goodbye," which was a newer song that Jay had written. Right? Stop me from getting this wrong. Yeah. But so we came back. We kind of just started. And it was fun. And I mean, the Normandys were already a band, but I don't think really you guys were really doing anything at the time.
Ouch.
I don't mean that in a bad way.
We're over now.
All I know is we played that song like for 2 months straight. We just played that song 1,000 times.
Yeah, before Pete came along, we were a kiddie roller coaster with very small peaks and valleys.
Right. But it was like a 7-year roller coaster.
Yeah, it was a very long kiddie roller
The
coaster.
Normandys have been a band longer than a lot of famous bands have been.
No, Pete, we right in the middle of we recorded to say goodbye, and then we decided, okay, let's record this rest of this album, and the rest of the album is recorded with help me.
Well, Josh was recorded with Kendall, but
Josh.
On
Roach.
drums.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh Roach played drums on the rest.
Yeah.
And
So
then Brent
he had
was the
never he practiced with us once,
Twice, I think.
twice,
Yeah.
and then he went in and laid all the drums down. I mean, the guy was awesome. Anyway, so we get done, and we're looking for a drummer. We have this album, no drummer, and then we come across Pete. And
I remember thinking, like, we'll never find anybody to play all these parts that Josh wrote. And then Pete came in and killed it. So.
But we did it through a Craigslist.
We did.
I had an ad.
Through the misconnections.
It was misconnections. It wasn't even about band.
Discreet
I saw
encounters.
you gazing into my eyes at Quick Trip while I was pumping gas. Tell me what color my socks were.
And then he showed up like, oh, you play drums? That's great, actually. Yeah.
But yeah, it was a Craigslist ad, and I don't remember if I had the ad or if Jay had the ad, but
Pretty sure Jay had the ad.
pretty sure.
somehow or another we connected through that, and the drummer that they had previously, I knew who he was, and had done some other bands that he was in. I had done some stuff with them, so I think it was easy to it would be easy for anybody to fall in line with this band because they're all such super guys. They're all so easygoing.
Yeah.
I know, he was awesome.
This is a little weird for us. No one's ever said anything nice about each other before.
This is therapy.
Right. When you guys leave, we're gonna brawl in the backyard.
Yes. You can say it. It's okay.
But the reality is like Weston was saying earlier, as far as being in bands, this band has by far been the most easygoing, easy to write music with, and just all around the vibe and the feeling is always good.
Yeah.
When we're in here playing music together.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Why do you think that is?
I think it's a lot of us are pretty.
I'll just let one another one.
I think it's a lot of us are pretty laissez-faire. I think I think a lot of bands, they get together because of like the need of like, okay, we need a guitar player, and they don't necessarily care about the person or whether they get along. And this band was kind of built around that idea of like, we want to be able to hang and like enjoy just being friends. And then
Yeah, and even when we finally got to meet Pete, that was one of the things that we discussed is we always want to make sure that like we're having a good time doing it. And that's sort of a catch-22 because if you're in a band, you can't, the whole point of being in a band is to play live. You can't suck to play live, so the amount of effort you have to put in sometimes becomes too much pressure, and then you're just at each other's throats. So we always just decided to try to keep it, let's have fun. And
yeah, like even when we hired Pete on board, he gets double what I get. So when we met with Pete, the first thing we did is we went out and just had some drinks at a bar before we even like saw if he could play drums, because we were just like rather him be cool, and then if we have to teach him how to play drums, we'll teach him how to play drums. Luckily, he knew most of it. So
No, that goes a long way. I get that for sure.
We said the album took about a year.
yeah, off and on. I mean, you work on. Yeah, it was crazy.
I was only there for about 5 minutes of it.
Well, and it's also, like I said, we're all pretty poor, so it was kind of like, okay, all right, we got some from this paycheck, let's go record vocals, so, because we wanted to record it, and we recorded it at Closet Studios with Kendall
Osborne, yeah.
Yeah, and the guy's really good, so we wanted to record it, actually, so it sounded decent.
Professional, yeah.
So we've all been in bands where we recorded in that guy's garage and, had that one mic and pulled the shower curtain over and so you take your pants off. Maybe that's just me.
That's a weird recording. He's got a video camera and you're like, I thought this was audio.
Oh, man. Anyways, so I'm not in this band anymore. I think every time we get together, I quit. I think that's it's like become one of the puns.
Nice.
I think it's weird because there's a lot of bands where it's pushed along by a person in the band where it's like I've been in other bands where it's like a focused kind of thing.
Uh-huh.
This band, it feels like there's like a real lack of goals. But what pushes us though is that we actually like the stuff we're doing, and I think it's different because I think that it's not motivated. It's totally motivated for me personally. It's like the reason I'm motivated to keep doing the band is because I love the music so much and I love hanging out. It's not like we've got to get on this show and we've got to do these. You know what I mean? Like it feels like as soon as you get in bands, it just feels like tasks you have to complete. Like we gotta print these flyers. We gotta do, and we do all that stuff. Some of that stuff. We do a lot of that stuff though. I mean, their work gets done, but it's
Pete does a lot of stuff.
But it feels like it's not based on something that's going to happen. It's because we're doing it right now in a way. If that makes any sense.
That was beautiful.
We'll talk about we're more kind of into the the rock and metal thing going on around here. Talk about more the punk scene in Tulsa and what some of the good bands are, and how you guys came to be, and your influences and stuff.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, they can do it. They can do it.
I believe in us.
We're pretty in depth in the punk scene. I mean, I know like one punk rock guy. No, we just really play. When we started the Normandys, obviously it was kind of like
2005.
We have a very punk feel, but we're trying. We try to mix a lot of more just like rock in there too. So it's not, we just have like a lot of different tastes. We're coming from a lot of different, where I might write something more punk, Weston might write something more jammy.
Jammy? Wearing your jams.
Rock and roll. I feel rock and roll.
But yeah, as far as punk rock scene, there is one.
Yeah, I think it's been kind of cool because, at least for me, I kind of thought, because I'm like the only guy in the band, maybe less a little bit, that wasn't like into punk rock growing up. I listened to it a little bit just because my brother, but for the most part, I grew up listening to like Mellencamp and Ray Charles, so I was like wildly different than this, and so
Celine Dion.
Back off the Celine. But so like it's been kind of a stretch for me, but I think it's kind of cool because it has brought in like a different flavor of like a lot more rock progressions and stuff to the punk rock, and it's not all double time stuff. It's got some some slower stuff with some hooks and everything, and so that's kind of the cool thing. I always like being in bands that each song sounds different. I feel like there's a lot of punk bands that are like, you could play all their songs start to finish and like those all sound very similar, and so, but as far as like the industry of like punk rock music, I kind of didn't think there was one until we started playing out, and it's like kind of been cool to see all the different bands, like Pawn Shop Heroes have been, kind of, we've been playing a lot with them, and Redneck Nosferatu, and those guys have been so cool, and it's just been really kind of cool to see like the amount of community that is like, in a lot of scenes in Tulsa is like divided and like, oh, we're better than them or this is that, and like punk rock, it feels like it's still kind of like all united and kind of we're all kind of family. So when we play these shows together, we're all up there singing each other's songs and we're all at the front kind of being together. It's super cool. I've really enjoyed being a part of it lately. So,
but we try to kind of do more than just punk rock shows. You guys are aware, we did the Smile Empty Soul, we did Trapped, we did the Michael Graves show, which falls into the punk category. But I think that our music style, because we have so many different influences, we're able to branch out and do other shows and stuff, which to me is totally cool because I think that it broadens the musical horizon. We could pull fans from a punk show and they might come to see us play a show with, say, Trapped or somebody like that, and with it, to me a real thriving music scene is a music scene that isn't segregated in that, well, hey, if you're not a punk, we're not coming to your show, or
Well, I'm coming. For Pete's approach is really good too because I can't speak for everyone. I feel like I can speak for Jay and myself, but we were in the quote-unquote punk scene back in the, early 2000s. And
back when punk was cool.
Yeah, back when I felt like there was a scene. And one of the things that's always seems to be within the community of like punk bands is the DIY approach. The downside with the DIY approach sometimes is that your shows, as energetic and fun as they can be, are not, produced, or they have like, one blown speaker and a single light bulb hanging over your head, which, you can become very close in that particular community, but it's enclosed in the sense that trying to branch out of it and getting other venues is really difficult, at least it was back then. So what Pete was saying, the approach about trying to get on with other acts that might not necessarily be quote-unquote punk, is definitely a good one, because it just broadens the horizons of the fan base and the people that, we can get our music to. So...
Yeah, because we've played everything from...
Yeah, I mean, we have played so many wide variety of shows, it's ridiculous.
We played that communist bookstore on...
Oh, yeah, what was that?
Across from the old cat house.
I forget what that
I always
was.
wonder what happened if you started a communist bookstore and then got really successful. Like, what would happen to your ideology?
Once money gets involved.
Yeah, I know.
But then we played behind that catfish restaurant on top of that pool.
Oh, yeah, with the
geez.
dirty mugs.
Yeah.
That was scary.
We've played some weird shit over the years. Which is crazy, like, technology's so cool now, like you see like come up like 10 years ago you did this or whatever, and it's crazy to think that, especially my brother and I and Sean, we've been doing the Normandys since they were sneaking me into bars before I was legal to play in bars.
And so. Honestly, the whole thing, kind of resuscitated because Jay and I were in separate... Well, actually, we were in Reckless Youth back in, 2000.
Yeah.
And I was at a point where I was like, screw music, I'm not doing this anymore. I sold all my good equipment, just didn't care. And then I bought, a Social Distortion album or something, a new album that came out, and I called Jay. I was like, Jay, let's just get together, just write a couple songs, let's not do anything serious. And then... we got Weston on board, and through a series of member changes, here we are. We got Pete and Les, who, thank goodness, we found some stability with them, because it was a nightmare up until...
Yeah, we went through some peeps.
Yeah. So, but it's just always been about fun, and,
Yeah, I think sometimes, I feel like now it's more about, I think maybe the positive way to look at it is broad appeal, or broader appeal than just the punk scene, but I always feel like we're not punk enough to be punk, but we're too rock to be, or we're not rock enough to, we're too punk to be rock, but we're not, you know what I'm saying. And it just sort of, maybe, and we're kind of, it kind of feels like we're finding a little bit of an audience
space,
now,
yeah.
and we're finding a space that we can, and we're getting fans from all these, but sometimes it just feels like man, those guys all have mohawks, and we kind of feel like I guess that's kind of our thing, though, is we're a little more...
Well, it's because we all have jobs.
Yeah, we all have jobs. Here's what I was trying to say. Everybody in this room has gainful employment.
So a lot of times we'll show up to a show, like that Michael Graves show we played.
Yeah.
I had to come straight from work, and I was in button-up collared
Like a
shirt and
cardigan
slacks, and I was like, I'm going to get my ass beat. No, boys, I'm with the band. Thank you. Please let me through. So, no, but I agree. I think it's been cool in the last 2 or 3 months, and that is wildly thanks to Pete and his kind of dedication to trying to find us some shows, and it really been a kind of a breath of fresh air to kind of help motivate us to kind of do more things, and he's taken it kind of upon himself to make our social presence more, and just kind of to get our name out there. And we've got merch now, and people have been wearing Normandy shirts at a show and singing along with the lyrics when we're playing. And it's just it's surreal, It's just super cool to have that happen. I mean, that's this is gonna be way too deep or way too silly, maybe a little too Celine Dion for Sean, but
it always is.
It always is.
But I think whenever you write music, you can say all day that we just write it for ourselves and to have fun, but you want people to like it. You want people to enjoy it, and the fact that some people have actually kind of taken it to be they like it and that they want to learn the lyrics and they want to sing along at shows and stuff. It's been really freaking cool. So
Yeah, I'd seen your guys' name for a while, but honestly, that trap show was the first time I'd seen you.
I'm so sorry.
No,
I was so drunk.
I remember that part.
Right.
No, you pulled it up on stage. But, within 30 seconds, he turned to me and goes, "This is my new favorite band."
awesome.
That's just like that quick. Both of us were just like.
Then he did the fucking Street Dog song. I was like, holy shit!
we always say that's our best song.
Which was crazy that you guys say that, because even though we weren't super worried about it on the surface, I think some of us deep down were like, dude, everybody on this bill sounds like, and that's a good thing. We were wanting to try to branch out, but at the same time, when you have a lineup of bands that are predominantly one sound, and we're like, either everyone's going to hate us or everyone's going to love us, man. Like, either we're going to get bottles thrown at us. And, I mean, it's just another one of those examples where it worked out, well. But yeah, I know a lot
But
of
it was traps.
I know I was like, dude, we do not.
We weren't too worried about bottles, really.
Yeah, they only sell cans there.
Good point. They hurt less.
But I did meet you afterwards, and I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
He's lying. He don't remember anything.
Yeah, I think when we get signed up for like a European tour that night because Jay was drunk as hell.
We can do it.
We did get messages about shows afterwards. And
it was a Southeast Asian tour.
Right.
I said we can do it, guys. We're gonna quit our jobs.
Yeah, that was a fun night.
Well, have you guys performed acoustic before?
Never. We're
Never?
probably not doing that. It feels real hot topic again. Like Green Day Hot Topic.
I was unaware that this was taking place.
Yeah, it's happening. People are.
Yeah, because we knew you would say no.
The
so
fans
hate acoustic
fans
guitars.
want it. Fans are clamoring.
Is that what we're
Yeah,
doing?
you should see some of the memes we got when we told Sean that
You should not.
we were going to do an acoustic song.
No, that was just a regular practice. Like, hey guys, I think we should lay this down on acoustics. And I'm like, I'm not coming. I'm not going.
So you're not a fan of Mike Ness's cheating at solitaire stuff?
I mean, it's really just that I'm not a great guitar player, and playing acoustic shows off all of my flaws.
No,
That's like
Sean says he's not a good guitar player. Sean is the Les fits it so well.
Sean is the worst guitar player I've ever met in my life.
Sean can play palm mutes like no speed metal musician in history.
I just don't have.
He is fast as shit.
And tight. Sean was out of the band for a couple of months because like he had work and stuff, and then we brought in a couple guys. I brought in a guy 20 times better than Sean. And he can't do what Sean does though. He can't do it.
Yeah,
I'm saying that,
but
I'm trying to say that in case he listens to this.
I just want to say that 20 times better than me is not really that good. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not an acoustic guy. I'll sit at home and try to write stuff for the band and bring it to practice because I got an acoustic guitar sitting at home, and I just can never capitalize on anything that sounds good on acoustic. But then I'll go in there and I'll plug in and I'll be like, get some good like gain out of it, and I'm like, okay, now that sounds awesome. But if I play it on the acoustic, it's like suddenly I'm in some, I don't know, give me a lame acoustic. That's like I'm in Dave Matthews all of a sudden.
I love he always looks at me. Give me one of your.
I'm like, give me a lame acoustic band, and I always look at Weston because he's gonna be like, oh my god, they're so good.
Oh man, remember how I said I love everybody in this band? That's a lie. I hate Sean.
Too late. You already said it.
that was a lie.
Well, I was just kind of wondering if any of you guys wrote stuff, any of your songs. I mean, besides you, obviously. Not, but
yeah,
I try.
I think Jay always kind of writes the songs acoustically, and then I usually come over, and sometimes Sean. And
someone's like, "Hey, what's that chord?"
But I will say,
will that one go with it?
I will say this though, in defense of in defense of writing it on electric, is that a lot of times when we have tried to make stuff on acoustic and then present it electric, it always has the shuffle.
Yeah,
it has this like
I got the shuffle.
This little shuffly I don't know, rockabilly thing that just ruins everything. And I'm like, put those damn acoustic guitars away because they are not good at anything, at least for this band.
So I think we should leave it at an obscure ending and then pause and then record a second thing with the music, and then if it sucks, that obscure ending will be all that is heard by your masses. So maybe this is it, maybe it's not it.
My life has always been a game of horseshoes and fucking hand grenades. Always getting close and never close. And apathy is a mistress my eyes have lingered on. The butterflies just started are all long gone. Gotta get up back some fucking hell. So I gotta get up back some fucking hell. All out of pills, and I'm all out of booze. The shakes and sobriety, nothing to lose. Remember what we had, just fooling around. Gotta get up back some fucking hell. So I gotta get up back some fucking hell.
We say.
Whiskey, 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 and to roll with my best friend. Whiskey, 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 you'll be with me till the end. Whiskey, 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 and you'll never break my heart. Say whiskey, 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 and tell to love. Woo! Say that I'm crazy, and maybe it's true. You label me bipolar, just insane now without you. So if I never see your face again, I'll stack these pills up just like sin. I'm trying to be sane, and the world has gone insane. I'm losing my mind like I'm losing you. Whiskey, 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 and to roll with my best friends. Whiskey, 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 you'll be with me till the end. Sip whiskey, 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 and you'll never break my heart. Sip whiskey, 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 tell to us.
Little abridged version there. I got the solo.
That was awesome, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very
that
much.
was
All right. Spread it to the nations.
I
Will
guess
do.
plug the next show, maybe.
Yeah.
yeah. Pete, when's the next show?
14th of January. is that right?
Oh, we have January 14th
With Cake
with
Tree.
Cake Tree at the
Yeah.
Vanguard.
Big names.
Madewell will be on that show also.
Nice. Yeah.
Then we have a February 11th at the Fur Shop with some friends of ours from Altus called the Juju Beans, kind of a rockabilly band. And then we have a February 23rd in Oklahoma City at the.
I can't do that show.
I'm just joking.
At the Blue Note.
Yeah.
Blue Note
Okay.
Lounge. We're going to be doing that show with the guys from Redneck Nosferatu and Pawn Shop Heroes.
Oh, really? Pawn
Yeah,
Shop?
yeah.
Cool.
And another band, and I'm not even sure what they're called, but they're from some other place.
That was super obscure.
Nice.
Yeah. Now we try and play like 1 or 2 shows a month, just to don't want to oversaturate at all. But I think
Yeah, and we're gonna try to. We've got 4 or 5 new songs. We've got at least 4. I've got one in my head right now, so that's fine.
Which only one of them will manifest.
I feel a good solid 4. So I want to try to be recording again.
couple months for sure.
Yeah,
Hopefully, a couple months we're gonna do another little EP.
Yeah,
Nice.
unless we can really get behind on some writing and then do a full length. That's only another 10 songs.
Yeah, punk rock. You got they're all 2-minute songs. So you gotta,
We're really looking forward to that greatest hits next album.
So you're
Just do
looking
the
at
same album over again.
just worse. Just worse. Like we're older.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Rest assured, there'll never be an unplugged album, though.
is that something you're looking to do this year? I mean, 2017.
yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
we'll have it done probably. Especially if we do a 4 or 5 song EP, we'll definitely have that done this year. So it'll be like a little mini CD release thing again because that was fun.
Yeah. So we'll try to have 20, 30 people at that one. So try to double the audience this time.
With each album, we hope to get 2 new fans. That's
There you go.
So anything else you're looking forward to in 2017? Just more shows down the line, probably.
I think just the fact the Normandys have been strong for it's like just 28 years
Add
now.
another
So.
check mark on that year on the
We're going for a Guinness.
Yeah, I don't know. I think like we said right at the beginning, we all like hanging out with each other. We all like playing the music. We never let it get too serious, and it's just fun.
Yeah.
And we've actually got some traction right now with some people, and so it's just I think just doing more of what we're doing has been fun. So
Cool.
probably do a small European tour or something like that.
Sounds
Like
like
3
a
or
good
4
idea.
days.
3 or 4
That's
days.
as much as we can get off work.
Dutch. 2 of those
If we
days
can
will be
take off on a
fine.
Friday, be back on a Monday.
Yeah, you can swing that.
Just go play the airport in London. Get right back on the plane.
We did it, guys.
It'll be unplugged though, Sean. So
What's that?
It'll be an unplugged show. So.
Nope. I will not sign off for that.
Oh man. Well, this has been super fun. Thanks, guys, for doing
Yeah,
this.
yeah, no
Thank
problem.
you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah,
Absolutely, man.
it was awesome.
We'll see you guys at another show.
Yeah, for sure.
Hopefully I won't be so drunk. Sorry.
Hey,
It's
you're
all
good
right.
by me.
That's probably the best way to meet Jay.
Throw a pill in.
Well, there you go. Jay, Weston, Sean, Les, and Pete from the Normandys. Very cool to have the entire band on this show, and even more cool to have them play that acoustic track for us.
Yeah, that was great. And it was cool to be in the room, just kind of soaking all that in.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was
was-
a treat.
Yeah, like we've said about other things like that we've been around, we talked about it with John Halata when he was recording.
Yeah.
It's always kind of a treat to be able to see inside stuff like this that, even some of these guys' closest friends don't get the opportunity to sometimes. So quite an honor, and we're happy these guys wanted to be on the show and kicking off 2017 for us.
Yeah, we saw them, we went to see our buddies Fist of Rage open for Trapped at the Vanguard, and that's how we caught the Normandys. And I mean, just right away, it was just like, oh my God, I love these guys.
Yeah.
And then, to be in their living room watching them do an acoustic thing, that was great.
Yeah. They actually played, I don't know if you remember this, we mentioned the Street Dogs earlier, and I think we mentioned
That's
them.
right. Yeah.
We mentioned them in the episode because they played punk rock and roll at
Yeah.
the show we saw, but
And when they went into that, I went in a drunken fit of fanboyness.
yeah, singing along, pumping the fists. But what I was alluding to was Lenny Lashley from the Street Dogs came to the first shop last year,
Yeah,
and we actually had him on the podcast.
that's right.
And I believe they opened up that show. We didn't see him that night, but I'm pretty sure they were on that bill as well.
Okay.
We should have asked him. But Dark Buster played the first shop, which is Lenny Lashley's band.
Yeah.
So, if you're a fan of these guys, go check that
Oh,
episode out.
definitely. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's like the only other real. Is that the only other punk rock episode we really had?
Yeah, I mean,
I think so.
We played
We played stuff.
we played Madewell, and we played stuff. I think that was the only other punk rock. I mean, I want to do more. I definitely want to
Yeah.
do more.
Well,
So-
we've got Lola.
Yeah, we've got Lola coming up. Any other bands, just hit us up, whatever.
Yeah, thethunderunderground@gmail.com. You can email us links or MP3s or whatever. You can also buy t-shirts. You can also get on thethunderunderground.com and read reviews, listen to past podcasts. They're all embedded on there, but they're also at soundcloud.com/thunder-underground. We're on what are we on? Facebook, Twitter, Periscope.
We're on everything.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. YouTube is at The Thunder Underground. Hit subscribe. Every once in a while we go live on there and do some discussions. We did a review of the new Metallica album, the new Avenged Sevenfold album, some Metallica songs prior to the album, the Black Sabbath concert we went to recently, so on, so forth. But if you want to check out previous stuff besides Lenny Lashley and the Normandys, we've had on a lot of metal guys.
Yes.
Had on Sid from Overkill. We've had on Elias from Nonpoint. We've had on guys from Crowbar, Corrosion and Conformity, Act of Defiance, Megadeth, Drowning Pool, Warrant, Europe, Trickster, Great White, the Bullet Boys, Avatar.
Yep. Obsessed, Spirit Caravan,
wow. Yeah.
all that.
Yes. Scattered Hamlet,
Scatter Hamlet,
Insight, Battlecross.
Allegiant.
Oh, yes. The list goes on. 102 episodes before this one, so just get on SoundCloud. Hit up at The Thunder Underground. Follow us on there as well. You ready to go?
Let's get out of here.
All right, until next time.
I say we just do another 30 minutes of the podcast, and
I
then
say we just
all go home.
I say we just. I got
say
some
we
more
write-
beers. We'll just come down and
Just talk about acoustic rock.
talk about.
I won't have anything to say.
Let's talk about our favorite dashboard confessional.
Oh, wait a second. I take it back. I was a big dashboard professional fan back in the day.
Time and all
So
that
we're still
for your-
recording when he said that, so I'll put that
Thunder Underground, y'all.